Nothing makes sense anymore because look, I'm stood here in a vest because it's just too damn hot in the UK, but also we are breaking all the rules because you just clicked on our predictions video, and not only are we going to predict WWE Extreme Rules, but we're also going to predict AEW's Fight for the Fallen. It's like we're taking both companies and we're pitting them against each other. It's the internet realised. My name is Simon Miller. This is WhatCulture Wrestling. Let's predict this weekend's wrestling events. We will start with Extreme Rules, and we will start on the pre-show, and we will talk about Tony Nese versus Drew Gulak. And as always, WWE has focused on this about as much as a disinterested parent. It would be nuts to take the title off Gulak so soon after he won it. I mean, that only happened around about 3 weeks ago. So he will retain his title here, and poor Tony Nese will likely be out of the championship picture. He'll win clean too. Pre-show. There may be some other matches on the kickoff as well because you never know what WWE is going to do, but for now let's focus on the Raw Tag Team Championships, and you'd be forgiven for forgetting that yes, the Revival do currently hold them and that they are going to take on the Usos at Extreme Rules, although there are no Extreme Rules in this one. The real problem with this one in terms of a prediction video is that I have no idea who's going to win, and I have no idea who is going to lose. And that's not because I'm like, oh, they've been built and booked so well. It's because everything before this has been utter chaos, which you can kind of use to describe the tag team titles on Raw for the entirety of 2019. But look, once Extreme Rules is done and we get to that Monday Night Raw 24 hours later, Paul Heyman should be officially in charge of that. And then on SmackDown, Eric Bischoff should also be taking the reins. So let's change things up and hit the reset button. Let's have the Usos win after they do that double splash thing. Also, we don't know if Dash and Dawson have signed new deals, so if WWE is just going to book them into oblivion, that is a waste of time. Let's focus on the talent we actually want to push. We've also got the SmackDown Tag Team titles on the line as the champions Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan going against Heavy Machinery. We're also going against the New Day, and down on a low-key level, I think this could be one of the best matches on the show. Crazy. All three teams are great, with Otis and Tucker coming into their own recently, which is why they're probably going to lose. And that's not a slight on them. I just think we barely touched the surface of what we could do with Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan. So unless WWE are thinking about putting Bryan back into the singles ranks, keep the titles on them, and for goodness sake, giving them a good feud that has some depth and can actually progress over the next few months. A running knee on Tucker is my call, and you just know Rowan will somehow get involved as well. That will allow Daniel Bryan to do his finishing move. I mean, if we'd all just recycled, Eric Rowan wouldn't be as mad as he is. And yes, it is Extreme Rules, don't forget, so finally we get into those because Braun Strowman is taking on Bobby Lashley in a last man standing match, and at least this makes sense. If somebody had tried to throw me through an entrance set, which meant I couldn't stand, I would want to challenge that person to a last man standing match. The major worry here is that Lashley has constantly said that the next time he sees Braun Strowman, he's going to send him to the morgue, so maybe we will see the death of Braun on this night. But the other thing you've got to consider is that Lashley came back from this massive thing that we saw on Raw with barely any injuries, whereas Braun Strowman, as we've been told, ruptured his spleen, and we haven't seen him in 2 weeks. So he comes back and loses, he's just going to look like a massive geek. But with that said, I'm going for Bobby Lashley. I have this odd feeling this run of destruction that Bob has been on is going to lead to him being the next contender to Seth Rollins' Universal Championship. And that would also explain why he absolutely owned Rey Mysterio a few days ago. I mean, how long did that match last? Around about 2 seconds. That seems like an absolute waste if it doesn't go somewhere, but also there are ways and means. I mean, whatever you're going to do here to finish this off, it's got to be bigger than what we saw on Monday nights a couple of weeks ago, so do that. Both men can be down, and at the last possible second, Bobby Lashley is able to pull himself to his feet. So he doesn't really win, but he does get the victory, you see? Then hopefully AJ Styles beats Ricochet for the United States Championship. And I know Rick only just won it, but I'm thinking long term here. AJ Styles and the club have only just come back together. And if they went through all of that just to lose, that makes them a bunch of losers. And that's not what I need right now, especially given because they do have a bit of like edge and power to them right now. There's another easy way to do this, given that you will have Gallows and Anderson on the outside. And look, Just keep it nice and simple. Anderson can trick Ricochet, he turns around all like, oh, why'd you do that to me? And then AJ Styles hits him with the phenomenal forearm and basically steals his championship. Then you can go into SummerSlam and you can do it again, and it will feel even more special because SummerSlam is WWE's second biggest pay-per-view of the year. Styles is the new US champion, and this kind of logic I'd also like to be applied to Aleister Black versus Cesaro. Let's just keep it nice and easy. Let them go, give them loads of time, preferably 15 minutes. I want them to have 15 minutes, and let Aleister Black win with the Black Mass. Cesaro loses all the time anyway. It's not going to hurt him at all, and given that we haven't seen Aleister have a fight for around about 72 years, let him get a victory here, and then push him to the moon. Aleister Black has something, but he needs the back in WWE. And you're in charge of the truck. When it comes to Bayley, Alexa Bliss, and Nikki Cross, I had an idea, but then a bunch of news broke, and now I don't know what to think. I don't know what the latest will be when you hear this, but there is a rumor going around that the reason Nikki Cross was added into this match is because Alexa Bliss is sick, and WWE don't know how healthy she is going to be. I'm going to remind you that's just a rumor, but it would make sense. If she is sick, I'm sure she'll still be in the match, but you don't know how much she's going to be able to do. Nikki Cross allows to elevate that worry. I should say alleviate. Really though, I don't think we should be changing any titles right now when you have a simpler feud to come out the other side, because Bayley can just win here after Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss cross wires, and then they can fall out, and Alexa Bliss can do something horrible, then Bayley can sneak up like a cat, and she can give Alexa Bliss the Bayley to belly, and then you just move on from there. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross can have their program. Bayley can fight someone like Charlotte. I know that's boring, but look, Charlotte hasn't been on TV for around about a month. You know, when she does come back, it's going to be something big, and not hot-shotting that title around will actually allow it to have some meaning. I think all these things are important. However, a small, tiny part of me thinks that maybe Alexa Bliss wins. But going with Bayley. Then how? How is this a thing? In one of the weirdest matches of 2019, we've got Shane McMahon teaming up with Drew McIntyre to take on Roman Reigns and The Undertaker. It's another one of those scenarios that if I had told you this could happen at the start of 2019, you would have racked your brain for hours trying to work out how WWE would have got here. And here we are. Apparently, if you beat Goldberg in Saudi Arabia, you do this. Thankfully, I have come up with a concept that hopefully allows this to all work. Kevin Owens has to get involved in this now, given what he did on SmackDown, so you can just do this. He gets in the ring, he gave Shane McMahon a stunner, that distracts Drew McIntyre, who can't believe it. He then gets tombstoned, and The Undertaker wins the match by pinning the Scottish psychopath. However, that sets up a one-on-one match between those two at SummerSlam, and there, if you can believe it, Drew McIntyre has got to get the win. All fans around the world keep saying, oh, it's great to see The Undertaker back, but why isn't he using all this legendary status to build somebody new? Well, that's how you build somebody new. Undertaker got the visual pinfall, we always talk about that, over Drew here, but at SummerSlam, again, the second biggest pay-per-view of the year, Drew McIntyre beats the dead man. Then the day after, you have got a star. It also, however, puts Owens versus Shane McMahon at SummerSlam, and while I know that sucks, when you think about it, it's okay if the stipulation there is if Kevin Owens wins, Shane McMahon has to go away for a while. He can take some months off television, we can build Kevin Owens, and everyone is going to feel a lot happier. As for Roman Reigns, it's Roman Reigns. You can do whatever you'd like with him. It's also going to be fought under No Holds Barred Rule 2, so we probably have a lot of fun with this, as we'll have all the smoke and we'll have all the mirrors. Where's Mojo Rawley? So it could be fun, as will Kofi Kingston versus Samoa Joe for the WWE title. And it'll be even more fun if Samoa Joe wins. Now, don't get me wrong, I've enjoyed Kofi Kingston's title reign, and I love the man. I think he's just a good egg. He's a good role model for a lot of people too, but sometimes you can just smell change in the air, and it's gone up my nostrils, and I think that it's time. Because if we don't, I don't know what we then do with Joe. We're getting into a situation where he talks a big game, and he cuts some of the best promos in the company, but when push comes to shove, he can never do the big one. Remember everything with AJ Styles? That was a flop, and it's pretty much been the story for all of Samoa Joe's feuds. So this is more of a pipe dream than a prediction, but I am standing by it, especially because, again, you can save face here with Kofi. Just let Samoa Joe, putting him in the Kikita clutch, but Kofi Kingston refuses to tap, and then we don't see him get pinfalled. There it is again, the visual pinfall, but he passes out, and the referee has no choice but to award the belt to Samoa Joe. And then again, you've got realms for a rematch, and when there you can do whatever the hell you want, but at least Samoa Joe backed up his words, and that's so important in WWE. Something similar will not happen in the main event though, or should I say, the last chance winner takes all Extreme rules tag match. My brain hurts. But yes, it is Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch defending all of their gold against Lacey Evans and Baron Corbin. And if you do need some explanations, it does mean that if Lacey Evans pins Becky Lynch, then Baron Corbin becomes a champion, and so does Lacey Evans. And I know that's one of the dumbest stipulations ever, but you don't have to worry because it's not going to happen. Given the current lay of the land with WWE, if they did do that, that would be like taking a gun and killing their own company, because those two people just aren't ready for those spots. Also, the fans will crap all over it. Seth Rollins, he will curb stomp Baron Corbin, and those two can walk off into the sunset and nothing will be any different. But hopefully, that also can signal the end on their on-screen relationship, because I don't think it's helped anything, including them. They are stronger as individuals, and we can reiterate that the next night on Raw, when I hope everything does start again. Also, one last prediction for Extreme Rules. Brock Lesnar is not going to be there. And we now segue into All Elite Wrestling's Fight for the Fallen. Isn't this exciting? What a wonderful wrestling world we live in. Now, my first prediction is to temper your expectations. I don't think this is meant to be taken as a big event, and instead is being done for charity, but will also be a pretty decent show. I think that Fyter Fest proved that AEW are allowed to put on some low-key shows without us going, oh, it's doom and gloom. Don't worry, you've got All Out soon. That would be your spectacular WrestleMania S-Buster. That doesn't mean that this is going to be bad, and we start off with Brandy Rhodes versus Ali, which is quite exciting, because finally we see Brandy Rhodes get into an AEW ring. And don't forget, she's an executive. It does create quite the conundrum as well, because I see it on message boards on Twitter and Facebook and social media with everyone going, well, how are they going to book this promotion properly? You can't have the people behind the scenes who are also the wrestlers winning all the matches. And I actually think you can, as long as it makes sense in the story. And that's why here, I know Ali's only just come into the promotion and she got a win at Fyter Fest, I'd have Brandy Rhodes win. Because let's say it does piss the crowd off and they want to start booing, I'm all right with that. You can make Brandy Rhodes a heel, because don't forget, Cody is kind of meant to be a bad guy, but he's not, because we all love him anyway. I think that would be a nice tandem that you can continue to build. Also, it just makes more sense to me. It's more fun. Ali's great and all, but there's something there. Maybe Ali can get her win back at All Out on a bigger stage, and then it just ticks all the boxes. Go get 'em, Brandy Rhodes. Piss off the internet. AEW also continues to announce matches from nowhere, which is why you may have noticed, while I am wearing the same clothes, I now have a more shaven head and my beard has lessened. Maybe I'm recording this after the fact. But we are going to get the Dark Order teaming up with Jack Evans to take on Angelico, Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy, and that's kind of cool for all of the same reasons that we've already discussed. The Dark Order have been being pushed quite hard, the lights keep going on and coming up, and there they are with their minions, although we haven't seen them in official action yet. Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy are everybody's new favorite toy. But that's why it is a six-man, because you can focus on Jack Evans and you can focus on Angelico instead, at least when it comes to the finish. Angelico will pin Jack Evans. This kept happening as well because All Elite Wrestling also told us that Britt Baker and Bea Priestley will be in action. That's all I've got right now, so I'm sure you're going to have more than me at some point before the pay-per-view, but let's just say they're fighting each other and Britt Baker wins. Can't talk about it more than that because I don't know. Chris Jericho will also be appearing live, and he is going to cut a promo, and he has promised to talk like there are no restrictions, like there is no red tape. Although really, when you break it down, I would imagine he's just going to call out Hangman Page. They'll do an angle with the number one contender, and then we can build to All Out when we'll see those two go at it to become the World Heavyweight Champion. A little spoiler for you, I think Chris Jericho is gonna be that guy. Kenny Omega is also gonna be the latest guy to take on Chima or Chima, whatever his name is, from OWE. And while I am joking there about his name, he is one hell of a talent. If you didn't see him fight Christopher Daniels at Fyter Fest, you should go and check him out. He got all the power. It is one of those situations, though, where Kenny Omega cannot lose come hell or high water, because he has a huge match against Jon Moxley at All Out in what, like a month, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, 7 weeks, whatever it is. If you did that here, you're just going to break the whole system. When those two go together, I want to sit there and go, I have no idea who's going to win, because if somebody does lose, that's going to affect their kayfabe career. And this is one of the reasons I love AEW so much. When wins and losses matter, I am able to care, and I am able to be shocked. Have a good match, let it be back and forth, let it be competitive, let Kenny Omega hit the one-winged angel, 1, 2, 3, he moves on. And the same kind of goes for Hangman Page versus Kip Sabian. Like all the stuff I just said, copy and paste it for Hangman Page. He cannot go into his world title match with Chris Jericho with a loss in his box, because it's just going to make you think he's a giant loser, especially because I think Chris Jericho will win that, and then what did you do to Page? But that doesn't mean you have to crap all over Kip Sabian, and really, this is Kip Sabian's coming out party. This is when Kip Sabian can show everyone, can show the world, or at least people who tune in to watch AEW, that he is a real talent, and he's somebody you should have had your eye on a long time ago, especially when he was kicking ass over here in the UK. Let him shine like the stars and the sun in the sky, before of course Hangman Page proves that he is the more experienced of the two and that he has all the momentum. But you can do that. Sometimes if you have a match that is like really good and really amazing, nobody actually loses. Both guys or girls come out the other side and they feel bigger than they did when they went in. That is the goal of AEW here, and we can see if they're able to pull it off. However, Hangman Page wins. We do have to focus on all the librarian stuff again, as Peter Avalon is going to take on Sonny Kiss, but as far as I'm aware, this is going to happen on the pre-show, so it may be a lot of fun. Look, if AEW has learned from Fyter Fest and what not to do, and I know some people dug it, I just didn't happen to, but you got to try these things. It could be alright, and besides, Sonny Kiss is really talented. I don't think you can have Kiss lose, though, to what is essentially a comedy figure, so once again, let's not overthink it. Sonny Kiss wins, then they can go on to do something else. SoCal Uncensored versus the Lucha Brothers, though, is probably going to be one of the best damn things you see on all of Fight for the Fallen, so no matter when you decide to tune in, make sure you see this. Another great reason for AEW to exist, because they actually allow you to focus and enjoy tag team wrestling. I think the Lucha Brothers have to win here because they did suffer a defeat at Fyter Fest. I know it wasn't them because this is Pentagon Jr. and Phoenix, but surely at one point in the future, they are going to be a pivotal part of the whole promotion when it comes to the tag team scene. So start turning things around now. As we've said, wins and losses matter. SoCal Uncensored can suffer a loss, they just can. Lucha Brothers cannot. If nothing else, you are going to get fireworks here, because Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky, well, I'll tell you this, Frankie Kazarian is an underrated veteran. He's done damn well in the wrestling business, and we should all be talking more about Scorpio Sky. The man can do everything. It is going to be quite tough to come up with a finish that serves all. My bet would be that Pentagon Jr. takes that arm and he snaps the hell out of it on Frankie Kazarian, and that leads to the ending of the match. I don't know why I didn't learn that. Just having some fun. Jimmy Havoc, Darby Allin, and Joey Janela are also teaming up to take on the very strange team of MJF, Sammy Guevara, and Shawn Spears. Now, maybe I've gone a bit crazy. It is hot here. Maybe I've got heat stroke. But why would MJF team up with Shawn Spears? I thought MJF and Cody were boys, and as we saw from the last pay-per-view, Shawn Spears and Cody are definitely not friends. You can kind of say that for Jimmy Havoc as well. Jimmy Havoc doesn't play nice with anybody, and he's certainly not going to play nice with Darby Allin or Joey Janela. In fact, I can see a whole big schmoz going on here, and Joey Janela and Jimmy Havoc getting into it, because those two would kick each other's ass. Eventually, they're going to have a match. Can you imagine the carnage? Really though, this has to be a showcase for MJF. He's already proven in the very short space of time that AEW has existed that he has mad potential and could be, just could be, one of the best heels in the business. So if you allow him to get the victory here, maybe even by himself, because everybody else is doing a bit of infighting, I think we can start this slow climb up to the top. And I tell you this, let's say that AEW does last a long time. Within a year and a half, MJF will be your AEW World Champion. I said it, I'm going with him. And his team, but I think this is more being done for MJF. And I'm going to assume that our main event is going to be Cody and Dustin Rhodes taking on the Young Bucks, and I think this is going to be so full of emotion, I may just start crying before it even begins and get my tears out. Because not only do we have the proper reuniting of the Rhodes brothers, and after their match at Double or Nothing, I don't know how I'm going to handle that, but knowing the Young Bucks are on the other side of the ring and the relationship between him and Cody and Matt and Nick Jackson, this is going to be too crazy. And if they play it right and they make sure they ram some of that emotion right into the middle, I think we could be talking about this for a long time. Or they go the other way and they just have loads of fun with it, but that's all right, because then I don't shed any tears and I can smile throughout. And while I know you've come here to ask me who is going to win and lose these matches, this one is really tough to call, but I think you've got to go with logic. Cody and Dustin are not going to be tag team specialists within the All Elite Wrestling ranks, whereas the Young Bucks I can't ever even see a time where they separate and go on singles careers, although it could happen and they probably do quite well. So with that in mind, and if you are building up to a tag team tournament and tag team champions, you gotta make sure the Young Bucks win. How you do that, I don't know. Maybe they pin Dustin, and then maybe Dustin goes and gets another tag partner, and he takes them on again, and Cody goes fights Darby Allin or Shawn Spears. You tell me. But isn't it exciting that you don't know, but you're still ready to find out? It's like reading a storybook that only got invented a year ago. So I don't think it's going to be a banger of a card or anything like that, but I do think it's going to be enjoyable. And of course, while that goes down on Saturday night, Extreme Rules goes down 24 hours later. But aren't we lucky as wrestling fans to be given all of this content, which also means I can take the finger of power and up those downs. We'll do that on Sunday for AEW, and of course, we'll do it on Monday for WWE. And I don't want to ruin the surprise, but there is a little bit of a surprise. Now, don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know who you think is going to win at Fight for the Fallen and Extreme Rules 2019. Like, share, and subscribe. Head over to WhatCulture.com where you can read articles about all of this. Follow WhatCulture on Twitter to stay up to date at WhatCulture WWE. And watch more videos here on WhatCulture Wrestling. My name is Simon from WhatCulture. I know that you're mad I pushed them together, but sometimes I just like to enjoy myself. I'll see you soon.
Hi guys, I'm Adam Wilborn from WhatCulture, and if you're a fan of what you've just seen, then make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts for daily wrestling podcasts, where we not only review Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live, we also discuss the events before and after of pay-per-views. We have roundtable discussions discussing burning wrestling issues, interviews, and a roundup of the week, complete with a bloody good quiz, of course, on WrestleCulture. Thanks for watching. I've been Adam from WhatCulture, and I'll see you soon.